Hello, dear friend. Thank you for joining me for the fifth of these 6 guided meditations, which I'm hoping you will use to land yourself solidly in your insight meditation practice. I'm going to begin today with another poem from Rumi, 12th century Sufi mystic, Life as a Rock. You have lived for lifetime after lifetime as a piece of rock. Then somehow you became a plant and forgot all about that. You then lived for lifetime after lifetime as a plant. Then somehow you became an animal and forgot all about that. You then lived for lifetime and after lifetime as an animal. Then somehow you became a human being. You have completely changed states countless times already. Do you really think that you have now arrived at the end of your evolution? So, here we are to meditate together for a few minutes. Please take that comfortable upright posture. Come home and be alive. Be the life that you are. Sense the life that you are. There's a body and there's awareness. And together, they are the experience of being a human being. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the last 3 of the 5 hindrances: restlessness and agitation, sloth and torpor, and doubt. I'll explain more in a few minutes. Please notice the contact your body makes with the chair. Not a fantasy, not an imagination, not a picture. The actual bare attention sensations of your hands now and your fingers. And you can let your eyes close or they can be softly downcast. Resting here. We might take 2 or 3 deep breaths, breathing in and pulling the shoulders back and down. Maybe stretching up tall, stretching the hands out to the side, whatever would be useful to you to just let go of some of the tension. Couple more breaths. Yes. Sometimes in groups, I like having everyone make a big, large sigh together. And now, the usual thing. The first foundation of mindfulness, the body. Be aware of your feet where they touch the floor. Be aware of their temperature. Be aware of your hands and arms and shoulders and neck and face. And take up the primary training object, which is the incoming and outgoing of the breath and the rising and falling of the chest and abdomen. Or perhaps you're practicing with the subtle sensations at the nostrils coming and going, and that's fine too. Perhaps noting rising, rising, falling, falling, wandering, wandering. There's another strategy which comes to us from Zen, in which on the in-breath, we count quietly 1. On the out-breath, 2. And in that way, all the way up to 10, and then starting again at 1. If you lose your place, if you get lost in wandering mind, you just come back to 1. There's nowhere to get to except here. So please, notice, of course, that the mind has this very profound tendency and habit to wander. Maybe it wanders into criticism or fear or loneliness. Or maybe it becomes very stable and concentrated and there's bliss. Everything's possible. Now you may notice that the mind is colored by wanting, by the desire I spoke of the last time, the lust factor, craving. Or it could be filled with aversion, disliking, the mind striking against the object. Those are two of our options, one polarity. Another option among the 5 great hindrances is known as restlessness and agitation. And in this, the body is fidgety, perhaps, or the mind simply jumps from one object to another. It might be worrying about this and planning that, and then it's aware of the body, and then it's worrying about something else. It's just jumping from one thing to another. Very easy to recognize and very common in our world. So what to do when that's the case? Well, mostly we notice it. Mostly we name it and then observe it as a phenomenon, as an energetic phenomenon. The 4th of the 5 hindrances is known colorfully as sloth and torpor. Sloths are very low energy because their food supply is very low in calories, actually. So when we're in sloth and torpor, we may find ourselves drifting away or our head falling forward onto our chest. Fatigue. This is also not something bad or wrong. It's quite normal for us, even when we're not really tired, because sloth and torpor allows us to avoid many experiences that are unpleasant, and we just simply don't notice them. So what to do with that? Be clear. Notice what it is. Notice how it feels in the body. Open your eyes, perhaps stand up. So let's sit here for a little while. Restlessness and agitation is when the mind won't settle. Sloth and torpor is when there's not enough energy to stay conscious. And the 5th hindrance is doubt. I think of doubt as the practice killer. Because if we're doubting and we don't have a teacher or a community to practice with, the doubt can seem very real. It is very real. And we wind up not practicing for a day or 2 or 3, and then we've forgotten completely. So to speak all 5 at the same moment, there's desire and aversion, one polarity. There's restlessness and agitation and sloth and torpor, another polarity. And then there's doubt, Can I do this? Does this make sense? Is it worth doing? So when we practice, please let us come home to breathing. Rising, rising. Falling, falling. Wandering, wandering. And reminding ourselves that there is no shame. There is not failure in the wandering mind. It's just the nature of the beast. Rising, rising. Falling, falling. Noticing how the breathing sings the song of anicca, of impermanence. It really sings the song that everything else does. If something has a beginning, it always has an ending. And this is true from suns and stars and galaxies and planets and civilizations, relationships and breath. If it's possible, if awareness, heart, mind, fullness is sufficient, then we just watch the coming and going of phenomena, of thoughts, feelings, sounds, smells. And very often, one is lost in one or more of the 5 hindrances. So then we can change the focus of our awareness away from the breath into the mental states of the 5 hindrances, and we can notice, oh, this is desire, right? This is familiar. Or this is aversion, this is disliking. Or this is restlessness and agitation, or sloth and torpor, or doubt. And at first this can seem mechanistic, but it really does become very comfortable, and it's such a relief to know what to do with the 5 hindrances. So please now, my friends, let's end with a few moments of the great love mantra. I love you, with your name at the end. And what about that mantra, I love you, with your name at the end? Maybe if you had a diminutive name, a name people called you when you were little, what about that? Only if you like it. Or what about taking a few moments to imagine being the hands that catch your precious little one-of-a-kind body on the way out? Holding yourself for your first breath. And what do you tell yourself? What do you tell this baby? Probably between the tears, in my experience. I love you. You're welcome here. I love you exactly as you are. And now, please know that you can recite that love mantra anytime, any place in your life. No one will know. In fact, you could also go through the world and recite something similar like I love you or may you be happy to everyone you meet in the mall or pass on the freeway. We're planting the garden of the heart here. A human being is part of the earth and is subject to ecological laws. And so exactly what we do to the garden is what we do to the human mind and heart. In fact, the word bhavana, Bhavana, which means meditation in Sanskrit, means cultivation in English. So we are cultivating the human heart mind. So please now, be aware of your body, where it touches the chair, where the clothing touches your skin. Notice the aliveness of your throat, your lips, your tongue, your face. And allow your eyes to move around inside their beautifully lubricated little sockets. Feel them as they feel themselves. And now forming the intention to make the effort to let the eyelids lift. And notice how that happens. It takes an effort of will, and then there's blurriness, and then there's seeing. Seeing. Take a moment to look around where you are, seeing. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. May all those who are sick, dying, may all those who are being born today, 175,000 children on average are born each day, and 150,000 people die. It's a very busy place. And so please take with you into your practice from now on the truth of desire, aversion, restlessness, agitation, and worry, sloth and torpor, and doubt. So please enjoy and make use of this recording for as long as makes sense. And I will see you again for the final one on episode 6. Take care.